morning and welcome to this segment of our program AM Cafe today. Thank God it's another Friday and it's the last Friday for the month of April, year 2016. We give all glory, honor and adoration back to the owner. God Almighty was giving us the grace to say this last Friday for the month. And I want to welcome everybody to this segment of the program today. While still waiting for our guests, we'll be able to discuss on something ongoing in politics that is at states and national level. You know, the inauguration of the president-elect will be coming on the 29th day of May. And that's when we're going to have the brand new president coming into office. And we've been hearing the stories about who becomes the Senate president, who becomes the Speaker of the House of Representatives. Even in states, we'll start hearing who becomes the Speaker of the State Assembly, who becomes the Majority Leader, the Deputy Speaker, and all other principal officers of the House. So this is why we said, okay, let's look at what we call zoning in politics. And here this morning, we built to have a guest in the studio who was going to tell us all what zoning is all about and how it affects politicking. So this morning, before his arrival, let me just try and look at something. We remember the 7th Assembly of the National Assembly was inaugurated on the 6th day. The State Assembly here in Osun was inaugurated on the 6th of June 2019. So barely another 6 weeks from now, we'll be having another round of principal officers coming on board. That was when Honorable Timothy Oweye emerged, the Speaker for the second time for the Osun Assembly. And at the national level, the Assembly then was inaugurated on the 11th day of June 2019. We remember the story of the 2014-2015 where the Senate President and other principal officers of the National Assembly emerged and the stories that followed. So we'll be hearing things like this. Just only this morning, we learned that the president-elect is like going with one senator from the South, and this somebody who has been in the National Assembly for quite some time now. And here in Osun, the story had started as well. And let's look at what zoning is. Because if you are the governor or the president, you have your deputy or the vice president from another place, then for equal sharing of offices, that is the simple definition of what zoning entails, sharing of political party or a country. Let me just look at simple definition that I have here. They say zoning means it is our time to rule. It is our time to rule. But for easy administration of the country, we remember when we got the 6 geopolitical zones: the Northwest, the North Central, the Northeast, the Southwest, the Southeast, and the South-South. So if we have things like we have the principal officers of the National Assembly, like we have the president and his vice coming from 1, 2. So what goes to the rest 4? In the current or the expected dispensation, we have the president, Senator Bola Tinubu, coming from the Southwest, and the deputy, Baba Sharif, is coming from the East, Northeast. Now, what becomes of the Northwest, or the North Central, or the South-South, or the Southeast? This is where we start saying, okay, if you pick this goes here. If you pick this will go here. And we will record that, we have the president, we have the vice president, we have the Senate president, we have the Speaker of the House of Representatives, so we have their Speaker, their deputies, we have the Secretary to the federal government, we have the head of service. These are positions that are filled by appointing somebody from particular place to meet that demand of zoning. Here in Osun State, yes, we have the governor. The governor is coming from the west. We have the deputy. The deputy is coming from the east. And then we go to the House of Assembly. Who comes here? And here in Osun, we have a peculiar case at hand now. Now, somebody was talking sometimes and said, oh, who should fill that space? I said, I don't know. And I don't know here if that person was trying to answer the question for himself and said, come, it should be occupied by so-so person, by so-so individual who has this qualification. Qualification here is not in terms of paper, the experience and. But I asked, in 1999 when we returned to democracy, when all members of our national and state assemblies are just coming, after many years, I remember the last time we had people in our assembly was in 1970, what now? 1983. That was when the government of Alhaji Shehu Shagari was terminated abruptly, and we started having military until 1999, when we started having democracy in place again. So when the National Assembly was going to be inaugurated there, every member, except we have somebody who was there in 1993 or was there in the 60s, but then majority of them were green. So how did the leadership of the National Assembly emerged? That's a question. And this is a space that must be occupied by somebody with a very serious pedigree. This is a space that must be occupied by somebody who is ready to serve. This is a space that must be occupied by a person of high integrity. So we push it to people who have been elected to come into either state or the National Assembly to please and please. I'm not one, but what they do there, what they will be doing there, will one way or the other affect me, affect you. If you are not a member, it will even affect them. So they should put sentiment. Although somebody will tell me now, if you put sentiment away in politics, what will it remain? That sentiment is politics is out. I'm not a politician. I don't know how strong sentiment is when you are calculating things. However, we are the people that you're going to rule over, and media will have that role to play. We are the mediator. This is what the people are saying in town, that sir and ma, please and please, this is the time that Nigeria must get things right. And coming back on to Osun, We must get things right. We're not saying people have occupied that space before they do well, but whatsoever the foundation that have been laid, we must continue to build on it. Whatsoever that they have done, we must continue to do better than what they did. That's when we can continue to grow. Yes, there could be one influence or the other. If you're going to influence anything at all, let your influence be on the right path. Because if you influence somebody who is not qualified, who is not good enough, who is not strong enough, occupy such a space, we're going to bear the brunt together. We're going to bear the brunt together, because legislation is a very important aspect of democracy. We need good legislation to move a state forward. We need good legislation to move a nation forward. One thing is, it's like it's affecting me alone. The way we handle life in our country, Nigeria, today, give me a lot of sleepless nights. Somebody steal a phone, and the next thing you hear about him, that he has been killed. Somebody is talking to another person while you carrying in their hand. The next thing you hear is that person that was accosted pull out the gun and fire the person that asked him while you carrying in their hand. I know fully well that carrying in their hand is prohibited. So people of our assemblies, whether in the state or the national, must go there with the mind of working to help this country out of the woes that we find ourselves. We cannot continue to do things the way we do it in the past and expect a different results. I don't care who occupies where. Once the person who occupies that seat is qualified to be there, once the person who occupies that seat is ready to help us out, once the person who occupies that seat is there to work and do the needful, we cannot afford to do the things of the past and expect the result of today. Times are changing. I was looking and was reading a story yesterday that some people, some Nigerians who were taken out of Sudan, and they were on their way. And there were no more phones in that the vehicle that was bringing them right inside the desert. So if you are driving a bus of that nature, you have 1,000 liters. Don't you know how many kilometers 1,000 liters will cover? Where's your plan B? You approach JAMB and you asked for opportunity to have your center listed as one of the CBT center, and you are given the opportunity, and you don't have spare generator to run the exam for these our children. You can imagine. These are things that we need powerful and strong legislation on. If we have people who doesn't feel what we people outside feel, then when they get there, they won't do anything for us. Time is not on our side. I must begin to go. The cameraman is sending me out. There's time for everything. That is what he's saying. If I wait here any longer, I'm going to eat into the time of the next program. Everything must be segmented. Let's put things around. I thank you for watching us this morning. Thank you for staying tuned. Continue to stay tuned to our station, Osbc Television. I wish you the best for this weekend. Have a wonderful morning. Bye-bye.